Tom wiped the sweat from his forehead as he finished loading the last box onto the delivery truck. His back ached from the long shift at the warehouse, but he couldn't complain. This job, along with his night cleaning work at the office building downtown, barely covered the rent and groceries for him and his daughter Lucy. Every penny counted these days. "Hey Tom, you heading home?" called out Marcus, his co-worker and one of the few people who knew about his situation. "Yeah, got to pick up Lucy from school," Tom replied, grabbing his worn jacket from his locker. The zipper had broken months ago, but he couldn't afford a new one. As he walked toward the bus stop, his phone buzzed. It was his sister Jenny again. She had been calling all week about something she called important. Tom knew what this meant. Jenny worried about him constantly since his wife Sarah had passed away 3 years ago. She thought he needed to start dating again, but Tom couldn't imagine being with anyone else. Sarah had been his everything, and now Lucy was his whole world. The bus ride home gave him time to think. Lucy was growing up so fast. At 8 years old, she was already asking questions about why other kids had mothers and she didn't. Tom did his best to be both parents, but some days felt impossible. He worked from early morning until late at night, leaving Lucy with Mrs. Chen, their elderly neighbor who watched her for free in exchange for Tom helping with her groceries and small repairs around her apartment. When Tom arrived at Mrs. Chen's door, he could hear Lucy's laughter from inside. She was probably playing with Mrs. Chen's old photo albums again, listening to stories about China and asking a million questions. Lucy loved stories more than anything else in the world. "Daddy!" Lucy ran to him as soon as he knocked. Her school uniform was slightly wrinkled, and her ponytail was coming loose, but her smile was bright enough to chase away all of Tom's tiredness. "Hello, little star," Tom said, using his special nickname for her. "How was school today?" "We learned about butterflies. Did you know they start as caterpillars and then they change completely? Mrs. Peterson says it's called transformation." Tom smiled. Lucy's curiosity about everything amazed him every day. "That sounds wonderful. Did you thank Mrs. Chen for watching you?" "Yes, Daddy. And I helped her water her plants too." Mrs. Chen appeared in the doorway, smiling at them both. "Lucy is always such a good helper. You are raising a wonderful daughter, Tom." "Thank you, Mrs. Chen. I really appreciate everything you do for us." Back in their small apartment, Tom helped Lucy with her homework while heating up leftover soup for dinner. The apartment wasn't much, just one bedroom, a tiny kitchen, and a living room that doubled as Tom's sleeping space on the old couch. But Lucy had never complained. She had decorated the walls with her drawings and seemed happy with their simple life. After dinner, as Lucy sat on the floor coloring, Tom's phone rang again. This time he couldn't ignore it. "Tom, finally. I've been trying to reach you all week," Jenny's voice was full of excitement. I know. I've been busy with work." "What's so important?" "I have someone I want you to meet. Her name is Anna, and she's perfect for you." Tom's heart sank. "Jenny, we've talked about this. I'm not ready to date. I may never be ready. It's been 3 years, Tom. Sarah wouldn't want you to be alone forever. And think about Lucy, she needs a mother figure in her life." Tom looked at his daughter, who was concentrating hard on staying inside the lines of her coloring book. "Lucy is fine. We're fine. Just one coffee, Tom. That's all I'm asking. Anna is going through a difficult time too. Maybe you two could just be friends who understand each other." Something in Jenny's tone made Tom pause. "What kind of difficult time?" "I can't say much, but she could really use a friend right now. Someone who understands loss." Tom felt his resistance weakening. If someone else was struggling the way he had after Sarah died, maybe he could help. Not as a romantic partner, but as someone who understood grief. "One coffee," Tom said finally. "But I'm not promising anything beyond that. That's all I ask." Tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock at Bean Their Coffee on Maple Street. You'll recognize her, she has long brown hair and will probably be wearing a blue dress. After hanging up, Tom immediately regretted agreeing. He had nothing appropriate to wear, no money for a fancy coffee, and no idea what to talk about with a stranger. But he had given his word to Jenny, and Tom always kept his promises. The next evening, Tom stood in front of his small closet, trying to find something decent to wear. His best shirt was actually his only dress shirt, saved for Lucy's school events and church services they occasionally attended. It was clean but wrinkled from being packed away. He did his best to smooth out the creases with his hands. "Daddy, why are you getting dressed up?" Lucy asked from the bedroom doorway. "I'm meeting someone for coffee. Mrs. Chen will stay with you until I get back." "Is it a lady?" Lucy's eyes lit up with curiosity. "Yes, but just as a friend, okay? Don't get any big ideas." Lucy giggled. "Maybe she likes butterflies too." Tom kissed the top of her head. His daughter's innocent hope both warmed his heart and scared him. He couldn't let Lucy get attached to someone who might not stay in their lives. Bean Their Coffee was a small, cozy place in the nicer part of town. Tom felt out of place as soon as he walked in. The customers were mostly young professionals with expensive laptops and designer coffee cups. His old jeans and wrinkled shirt made him feel like everyone was staring, even though they probably weren't paying attention to him at all. Tom checked his watch. He was 10 minutes early, which was good because he wanted to buy his coffee before his date arrived. He only had enough money for one small coffee, so he hoped Anna wouldn't expect him to pay for hers too. As he waited in line, Tom noticed a woman sitting alone at a corner table. She had long brown hair and was wearing a blue dress, just as Jenny had described. But something was wrong. The woman was crying softly, trying to hide her tears behind a napkin. Tom's first thought was that she had been stood up. His second thought was that this must be Anna, his blind date. His third thought was that he should probably leave quietly and pretend he had never seen her. But something about the way she was sitting, so alone and sad, reminded him of his own darkest moments after Sarah died. Instead of leaving, Tom ordered 2 coffees and walked over to her table. "Excuse me," he said gently, setting one coffee cup in front of her. "Are you Anna?" The woman looked up, and Tom saw that her eyes were red from crying but still beautiful. She was probably in her early 30s, with a kind face that seemed familiar somehow, though he was sure they had never met. "Yes," she said, quickly wiping her eyes. "You must be Tom. I'm so sorry, I'm not usually like this. I just received some difficult news today." Tom sat down across from her, pushing the coffee closer to her hands. "You don't need to apologize. We all have bad days." Anna managed a small smile. "Thank you for the coffee. You didn't have to do that." "It's no problem." Tom hoped she couldn't tell that buying 2 coffees had used up the money he had planned to spend on bus fare home. He would have to walk, but it was worth it to see her smile. "Your sister Jenny told me a lot about you," Anna said, seeming to compose herself. "She said you're a wonderful father." "I try to be. Lucy is my whole world." Tom felt more comfortable talking about his daughter than himself. "Do you have any children?" Anna's face clouded over again. "No, I don't. I always thought I would someday, but life doesn't always go according to our plans." Tom heard something deep and painful in her voice, something that went beyond just not having children yet. "No, it doesn't," he agreed quietly. For the next hour, they talked about everything and nothing. Anna was easy to talk to, and she listened to Tom's stories about Lucy with genuine interest. She laughed when he told her about Lucy's latest questions about why the moon followed their car, and she seemed to understand when he talked about the challenges of being a single parent. "You work 2 jobs?" Anna asked when Tom mentioned his schedule. "The warehouse during the day and cleaning offices at night. It's not glamorous, but it pays the bills." Tom felt embarrassed about his situation, but Anna didn't seem to judge him. That must be exhausting. When do you sleep? A few hours here and there. You do what you have to do for your kids. Anna nodded thoughtfully. You're a good man, Tom. Lucy is lucky to have you. Something in the way she said it made Tom look at her more closely. There was sadness in her eyes that seemed deeper than just a bad day. Before he could ask about it, Anna's phone rang. Excuse me, I need to take this, she said, stepping outside the coffee shop. Through the window, Tom could see her talking intensely on the phone. Her body language suggested the conversation was serious and upsetting. When she returned to the table, she looked even more troubled than before. Everything okay? Tom asked. Anna hesitated for a moment, then shook her head. Not really, but I don't want to burden you with my problems. We just met. Sometimes it's easier to talk to someone you just met, Tom said gently. And after what I went through when my wife died, not much surprises me anymore. Anna looked at him with something that might have been hope. Maybe you're right. As the evening grew later, Tom realized he didn't want their conversation to end. Anna was intelligent, kind, and surprisingly easy to be with. But more than that, he sensed that she was carrying some kind of heavy burden, and he wanted to help if he could. When they finally stood up to leave, Anna seemed reluctant to say goodbye. Thank you for tonight, Tom. I really needed this. Me too, Tom admitted, surprising himself. Maybe we could do it again sometime. Anna's face brightened for a moment, then fell again. I'd like that, but Tom, there are things about my situation that you don't know. Things that might change how you feel. Tom waited for her to explain, but Anna just shook her head. I should go. Thank you again for the coffee and the conversation. As Tom watched her walk away into the night, he couldn't shake the feeling that something important had just happened. Anna was clearly dealing with something serious, but he had no idea what it could be. All he knew was that he wanted to see her again, and that feeling scared him more than he wanted to admit. The long walk home gave Tom plenty of time to think about the evening. He had expected an awkward, uncomfortable meeting that would prove to Jenny that he wasn't ready to date. Instead, he had met someone who seemed to understand him in a way that he hadn't experienced since Sarah died. But Anna's mysterious sadness worried him. What could be so terrible that she thought it would change how he felt about her? And why did he care so much about someone he had just met? When Tom finally arrived home, Mrs. Chen was reading on his couch while Lucy slept peacefully in the bedroom. How did it go? Mrs. Chen asked quietly. I'm not sure, Tom answered honestly. But I think I want to find out. The next few days passed slowly for Tom. He found himself thinking about Anna during his warehouse shifts, wondering what kind of difficult situation she was facing. Every time his phone buzzed, he hoped it might be her, but it never was. He hadn't even gotten her phone number, which now seemed like a terrible mistake. Lucy noticed his distraction during their evening routine. As she sat at their small kitchen table working on her math homework, she looked up at him with curious eyes. Daddy, you seem different since you went to coffee with that lady. Tom was stirring a pot of pasta on the stove, trying to make their dinner stretch for one more night. Different how? You smile more, but you also look worried. Did something bad happen? Tom marveled at his daughter's ability to read his emotions. At 8 years old, she was already more perceptive than most adults he knew. I met someone nice, but I think she might be going through a hard time, Tom explained carefully. Sometimes when we meet new people, we want to help them, but we don't know how. Lucy nodded seriously. Like when Billy at school was sad because his grandma was sick, and I didn't know what to say to make him feel better. Exactly like that. Maybe you could ask Mrs. Chen. She always knows what to say when people are sad. Tom smiled at his daughter's simple wisdom. Mrs. Chen did seem to have good advice for every situation. But this felt too personal to share with anyone else. On Thursday evening, as Tom was finishing his cleaning shift at the downtown office building, his phone finally rang with an unknown number. "Hello, Tom. This is Anna. From the coffee shop." Tom's heart jumped. "Anna, hi. I was hoping I'd hear from you. I got your number from your sister. I hope that's okay. I was wondering if you might want to meet for dinner tomorrow night. Somewhere nicer than a coffee shop this time." Tom felt excited and nervous at the same time. "I'd like that, but I should tell you that I can't afford anywhere too fancy." "Don't worry about that. I know a little place that has great food and reasonable prices." "My treat." "You don't have to pay for me," Tom said quickly. "I know I don't have to. I want to. Please let me do this." Something in her voice convinced him not to argue. "Okay, but next time it's my turn." "Deal," Anna said, and Tom could hear her smiling through the phone. They arranged to meet at a small Italian restaurant on Friday evening. After hanging up, Tom realized he had just committed to a second date. The thought both thrilled and terrified him. Friday evening couldn't come fast enough. Tom asked Mrs. Chen to watch Lucy again, promising to pay her back somehow for all her help. Mrs. Chen waved away his concerns as usual. "Take your time," she said. "Lucy and I will be fine. We're going to make paper flowers tonight." The restaurant Anna had chosen was perfect. It was cozy and warm, with soft lighting and reasonable prices on the menu. Tom felt more comfortable here than he had at the coffee shop. Anna was already waiting when he arrived, wearing a simple green dress that made her eyes look bright. She seemed more relaxed than she had been at the coffee shop, but Tom could still see traces of sadness in her expression. "You look nice," Tom said as he sat down across from her. "Thank you. You clean up pretty well yourself." Tom had worn his same dress shirt again, but he had borrowed an iron from Mrs. Chen to make sure it looked better this time. Their conversation flowed easily over dinner. Anna asked more questions about Lucy, and Tom found himself sharing stories he hadn't told anyone else. He talked about Lucy's first day of school, when she had been so nervous that she held his hand until the very last second. He told Anna about the time Lucy had tried to cook him breakfast for his birthday and had nearly burned down their kitchen. "She sounds wonderful," Anna said. "I can tell how much you love her. She's everything to me. After Sarah died, I didn't think I could survive, but Lucy needed me. She saved my life just by existing." Anna reached across the table and touched his hand briefly. "I'm sorry about your wife. It must have been terrible." "It was. But talking to you the other night made me realize something. I've been so focused on just surviving that I forgot it's okay to live again." Anna pulled her hand back, and Tom saw that familiar shadow cross her face again. "Tom, I need to tell you something important. But first, can I ask you about your work?" The change of subject surprised him. "My work? There's not much to tell. I load trucks at a warehouse during the day and clean offices at night." "Which building do you clean?" "The big one on 5th Street. Morrison Industries." "Why?" Anna's face went pale. "What floor do you work on?" "Mostly the executive floors. 15th and 16th. The offices up there are always spotless, but they still want them cleaned every night." Tom noticed that Anna had stopped eating and was staring at him with an expression he couldn't read. "Anna, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." "In a way, I have," she said quietly. "Tom, I work in that building too." "Really? What do you do?" Anna hesitated for a long moment. "I'm the CEO of Morrison Industries." Tom felt like the world had stopped spinning. The CEO. Anna was his boss. Not just his boss, but the boss of everyone he worked for. The woman whose office he cleaned every night without ever seeing her. "I don't understand," Tom said slowly. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I was afraid this would happen. I was afraid you'd look at me differently." Tom's mind was racing. The expensive dress, her willingness to pay for dinner, the way she carried herself. It all made sense now. But it also made everything more complicated. "How long have you known?" he asked. "I figured it out tonight when you mentioned the building. I've never seen you there, but we obviously work different hours." They sat in silence for a moment, both processing this revelation. Tom felt embarrassed about his simple clothes and his financial situation. Anna was probably used to dating men who could afford nice restaurants and expensive gifts. "I should go," Tom said, starting to stand up. "Please don't." Anna's voice was urgent. "This doesn't change anything about who you are or how I feel about you." "How can it not change things? You're a CEO, and I clean your building for minimum wage. We live in completely different worlds." "Do we?" "Because the last 2 times we've talked, I haven't felt like a CEO. I've felt like a woman who enjoys your company and admires the kind of person you are." Tom sat back down, but he still felt uncomfortable. "Why would someone like you want to spend time with someone like me?" Anna's eyes filled with tears. "Because you're real, Tom. You're genuine and kind, and you love your daughter more than anything in the world. Because when I talk to you, I feel like myself instead of just a title on an office door." Before Tom could respond, Anna's phone rang. She looked at the caller ID and her face grew tense. "I have to take this. I'm sorry." She stepped outside the restaurant, leaving Tom alone with his thoughts. Through the window, he could see her pacing back and forth, one hand pressed to her forehead. The conversation looked intense and upsetting. Tom couldn't hear what she was saying, but he could see her body language growing more agitated. At one point, she stopped pacing and leaned against the restaurant's brick wall, as if she needed support to stay standing. When Anna returned to the table, she was trying to compose herself, but Tom could see that she was shaking slightly. "Everything okay?" he asked. "That was my doctor," she said quietly. "I had some tests done this week, and the results came back." Tom felt a cold dread in his stomach. "What kind of tests?" Anna looked down at her hands. "Tom, there's something I need to tell you. Something I should have told you from the beginning." She took a deep breath and looked up at him. "I'm sick. Very sick." Tom reached across the table and took her hand. "What do you mean?" "I have cancer. Pancreatic cancer. I found out 6 months ago." The words hit Tom like a physical blow. "Anna, I'm so sorry. Are you getting treatment?" "I've tried everything. Surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. Nothing has worked. The cancer has spread too far." Tom squeezed her hand tighter. "There must be something else the doctors can try. New treatments, experimental drugs." Anna shook her head. "That's what the phone call was about. My latest scans show that the cancer is progressing faster than they expected. My doctor thinks I have maybe 6 months left." Tom felt like he couldn't breathe. 6 months. This wonderful, kind, intelligent woman had 6 months to live. "That's why I've been crying," Anna continued. "That's why I seem sad all the time. I'm dying, Tom, and there's nothing anyone can do about it." "Why are you telling me this?" Tom asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted to hear the answer. Anna's tears were flowing freely now. "Because I'm falling in love with you, and that's not fair to either of us." Tom felt his heart breaking and soaring at the same time. She loved him. But she was dying. "I never expected to feel this way about anyone," Anna whispered. "I thought I would spend my last months alone, just trying to get my affairs in order. But then I met you, and suddenly I want things I can't have." "What do you want?" Tom asked softly. "I want time. I want to know Lucy. I want to wake up next to you and make you breakfast and argue about what to watch on television. I want all the normal, boring, wonderful things that couples do." Tom moved his chair closer to hers. "Anna, look at me. She raised her eyes to meet his. You can have those things. No, I can't. It wouldn't be fair to you or to Lucy. You've already lost one person you loved. I won't put you through that again. That's not your choice to make, Tom said gently. Isn't it? Tom, I'm going to die. Probably before the end of this year. If we do this, if we let ourselves fall in love, it's going to end in heartbreak. I can't do that to you. Anna leaned closer to him, so close he could smell her perfume and see the flecks of gold in her brown eyes. I have 6 months to live, she whispered, her voice breaking. And I can't let myself fall for someone who deserves so much more than watching me fade away. She pulled away and stood up quickly. I'm sorry, Tom. I should never have called you. This was a mistake. Anna, wait, Tom called, but she was already walking toward the door. Tom threw money on the table for their dinner and followed her outside, but Anna was already getting into a taxi. Through the window, he could see her crying as the car pulled away. Tom stood on the sidewalk, watching the taxi's taillights disappear into the night traffic. His heart was pounding, his mind was spinning, and he felt like his world had just changed completely. Anna loved him. Anna was dying. Anna didn't want to hurt him. But as Tom began the long walk home, one thought kept repeating in his mind. Life was too short and too precious to let fear make all the decisions. He had learned that lesson when Sarah died. Now he had to decide what he was going to do about it. Tom couldn't sleep that night. He lay on his old couch, staring at the ceiling and thinking about Anna's whispered words. 6 months. The number kept spinning in his mind like a broken record. He thought about Sarah and how quickly she had been taken from him. One day she was healthy and laughing, and 3 weeks later she was gone. At least with Anna, he knew what was coming. But did that make it easier or harder? Lucy found him in the morning, still lying on the couch in yesterday's clothes. Daddy, why aren't you getting ready for work? Tom looked at his daughter's concerned face and realized he had been so lost in thought that he had forgotten about everything else. I'm getting up now, little star. Just had a lot on my mind. As he got ready for work, Tom couldn't stop thinking about Anna's tears and the way she had looked at him when she said she was falling in love with him. He had never expected to feel this way about anyone again after Sarah died. During his warehouse shift, Tom made a decision. He was going to find Anna and tell her that she was wrong. 6 months of happiness was better than a lifetime of wondering what could have been. The problem was that he didn't have Anna's phone number. She had called him from her office phone, and he hadn't thought to ask for her personal number. He knew where she worked, but showing up at the CEO's office seemed impossible for someone like him. At lunch break, Tom called his sister Jenny. Tom. How did your dinner go last night? I've been waiting to hear from you. Jenny, I need Anna's phone number. Why? What happened? Tom told his sister everything. About Anna being the CEO of his company, about her illness, about her running away from the restaurant. Jenny listened in shocked silence. Oh Tom, I had no idea. Anna never told me about being sick. She just said she was going through a difficult time. Can you give me her number? I need to talk to her. Of course, but Tom, are you sure about this? What you're talking about is going to be really hard. I'm sure. Life is too short to let fear make all the decisions. After work, instead of going home, Tom took the bus to the Morrison Industries building. He had never entered through the front door before. Usually, he came through the service entrance in the back after the building was closed. The lobby was impressive, with marble floors and expensive artwork. Tom felt completely out of place in his work clothes, but he walked up to the reception desk anyway. I need to see Anna Morrison, he told the young woman behind the counter. Do you have an appointment? No, but it's important. Personal. The receptionist looked him up and down with obvious doubt. I'm sorry, but Ms. Morrison only sees people by appointment. You can call her office to schedule something. Tom realized this wasn't going to work. Security guards were already looking at him suspiciously. But as he turned to leave, he heard a familiar voice. Tom. What are you doing here? Anna was stepping out of the elevator, wearing a sharp business suit and looking every inch the successful CEO. But her eyes were red, as if she had been crying. I came to see you, Tom said simply. Anna looked around the lobby, clearly aware that people were watching them. Come with me. She led him to the elevator and up to the 16th floor. Tom recognized the hallway immediately. He had mopped these floors countless times, but seeing them during business hours felt surreal. Anna's office was huge, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Tom had cleaned this room many times, but he had never imagined the person who worked here. How did you get past security? Anna asked, closing the door behind them. I told them it was personal. Tom, you can't just show up at my office. People will ask questions. Let them ask. Anna, we need to talk about last night. Anna walked to her desk but didn't sit down. There's nothing to talk about. I told you the truth, and now you know why this can't work. You're wrong. How am I wrong? Tom, I'm dying. In 6 months, maybe less, I'll be gone. How can you want to sign up for that kind of pain? Tom moved closer to her. Because my wife taught me something before she died. She told me that love isn't about how much time you have together. It's about what you do with the time you get. Anna's eyes filled with tears. I can't ask you to watch me get sick and die. You're not asking. I'm choosing. Anna, I've already lost someone I loved. I know how much it hurts. But you know what hurts more? Living with regret. Wondering what might have been. What about Lucy? She's already lost her mother. I can't become important to her just to leave her too. Lucy is stronger than you think. And she deserves to see her father happy, even if it's only for a little while. Anna sat down in her chair and buried her face in her hands. I'm scared, Tom. So am I. But I'd rather be scared with you than safe without you. Anna looked up at him. Are you really sure about this? Tom knelt beside her chair and took her hands. Anna, I'm falling in love with you too. I fought against it because I thought it was too soon after Sarah, but I can't fight it anymore. 6 months with you is better than 50 years without you. But what if I get sicker? What if I become a burden? Then I'll take care of you. Just like you would take care of me if our situations were reversed. Anna was crying again, but this time her tears looked different. Hopeful instead of hopeless. I want to meet Lucy, she whispered. Tom smiled. She wants to meet you too. She's been asking about the lady I had coffee with. That evening, Tom brought Anna home to their small apartment. He had warned Lucy that Anna was coming for dinner, but he hadn't explained about the illness yet. That conversation would come later, when he was sure Anna was going to stay in their lives. Mrs. Chen had helped Lucy clean the apartment and even contributed some vegetables from her garden for their dinner. Lucy had insisted on wearing her best dress and had made a welcome card for Anna. When Anna saw their tiny apartment with its second-hand furniture and Lucy's drawings on the walls, she didn't seem bothered at all. Instead, she looked around with genuine interest. This feels like a real home, she said to Tom quietly. Lucy was shy at first, hiding behind Tom's legs when Anna arrived. But Anna knelt down to Lucy's level and admired her welcome card, and soon they were chatting about butterflies and school and all of Lucy's favorite things. During dinner, Tom watched Anna listening to Lucy's stories with complete attention. She asked questions about Lucy's drawings and laughed at her jokes. Tom could see that Anna genuinely enjoyed being with his daughter, and Lucy was clearly charmed by this new person who treated her like she was interesting and important. After dinner, Lucy showed Anna her butterfly book, and they sat on the floor together looking at pictures and reading about metamorphosis. Anna, Lucy said suddenly, are you going to be my daddy's girlfriend? Tom and Anna exchanged glances. Would that be okay with you? Anna asked carefully. Lucy considered this seriously. Will you help him not be so tired all the time? I'll try, Anna said. Then yes, it's okay. Later, after Lucy was in bed and Mrs. Chen had gone home, Tom and Anna sat on his old couch talking about the future. I want to help you, Anna said. With Lucy, with money, with everything. I don't need charity, Anna. It's not charity. If we're going to do this, if we're going to be together, then we're partners. Let me use my resources to make our time together easier. Tom realized she was right. His pride was less important than making the most of whatever time they had. Okay, but I want to contribute too. I want to take care of you when you need it. Deal. Over the next few weeks, Anna became a regular part of Tom and Lucy's life. She arranged for Tom to work normal hours at the warehouse with better pay, so he could quit his night cleaning job. She spent evenings with them, helping Lucy with homework and cooking dinner with Tom. Lucy adapted to Anna's presence with remarkable ease. She seemed to understand instinctively that Anna was special, and she treasured their time together. Tom still hadn't told Lucy about Anna's illness. He wasn't sure how to explain it to an 8-year-old, and he wanted to wait until he was certain about how their relationship was going to develop. A month into their relationship, Anna had another doctor's appointment. Tom went with her, holding her hand as they waited for the results of her latest scans. The results are unexpected, Dr. Martinez told them. The cancer doesn't seem to be progressing as quickly as we thought. In fact, some of the tumors appear to be slightly smaller. Tom felt his heart jump. What does that mean? It means we have more time than we originally thought. Maybe a lot more time. There's a new experimental treatment that might work for Anna's specific type of cancer. It's not a cure, but it could extend her life significantly. Anna was crying again, but these were tears of hope. How much more time? If the treatment works, we could be talking about years instead of months. Maybe many years. That night, Tom finally told Lucy about Anna's illness and the new treatment she was going to try. Lucy listened solemnly, then hugged Anna tightly. The butterflies in my book start as caterpillars, Lucy said. Maybe the medicine will help you transform into something better too. 6 months later, Anna's latest scans showed that the experimental treatment was working even better than expected. The cancer was in remission, and Dr. Martinez was cautiously optimistic about her long-term prognosis. Tom and Anna decided to get married in a small ceremony with Lucy and Mrs. Chen as witnesses. They had learned that life was too precious to waste time waiting for perfect conditions. Anna moved into a larger apartment where Lucy could have her own room and Tom could sleep in a real bed instead of on the couch. Lucy decorated Anna's office with her butterfly drawings, and Anna attended every school event and soccer game. They were realistic about the future. Anna's cancer might come back, and they would face that challenge together if it happened. But they had learned that love wasn't about guarantees. It was about choosing each other every day, regardless of what tomorrow might bring. On their first wedding anniversary, as they watched Lucy chase butterflies in their new backyard, Anna turned to Tom and smiled. "Thank you for not giving up on us," she said. "Thank you for teaching me that 6 months of real love is better than a lifetime of playing it safe," Tom replied. They had discovered that sometimes the best love stories don't have perfect endings. They have real endings, with all the uncertainty and hope that real life brings.